Right. So the example that we saw earlier, right? It tests the controller by actually starting up the server, right, and listening at a particular port, right, that is ready to receive HTTP requests. Gets and puts and deletes and whatnot. Right? But oftentimes we want to avoid that, having to actually start the server. Right? We want to isolate it and not have that dependency. Right? So we would like to mock that, right? To create an environment that will isolate the controller and not have it be dependent on that it's running inside of an HTTP server. Right? So to do that, there's a mock library, MockMvc, that allows us to do just that, right? To provide the environment that would let a controller behave just as if it were running inside of an HTTP, of a model view controller framework, right? Without it even knowing, right, that it's indeed actually not, right? Obviously, this is all done through interfaces, right? The controller really cares that somebody's going to invoke its function, right? It's going to pass it some input, is that it's going to return something. The data layer, right? The web layer is responsible for converting all these Java representations into the HTTP version of this, right? Here we can still mock the invocation of those controllers, right? But without actually starting the server. So here we're using MockMvc, and we are performing a get slash, meaning there is a controller waiting for that slash. Yes, right? And this will generate that invocation. It will generate the invocation of the function associated to that endpoint, right? And it's verifying that it's going to receive an OK status, 200. It checks to see it grabs the content, which is a string, and verifying that the string is equal to hello world. Okay? Again, this allows you to isolate the controller and have it just be executed in a mocked environment instead of starting up the entire server. Now this application, this query here, the controller that is associated to this root URL, might have other dependencies, right? Like it needs to go out to the database. Right? If that controller needs to go out to the database and use JPA and all that, it will still do that. Right? It'll go out and do all that query, right? So we would like to be able to even isolate even that. Right? Also, if there might be many other infrastructure, maybe a whole bunch of other controllers that are set up, not just ours. Right? There's a whole bunch of other controllers that are registered, that register a whole bunch of posts and puts and deletes, a whole bunch of URLs that are ready to go. Right? What we could do is go even further and say that we don't want to test all those controllers. Maybe we can split it up by controller and say no, I only want to test these controllers or this specific controller, right? So you can use this annotation, at WebMvcTest, and provide the exact controller that you want to test, right? So in this case, only that particular controller will be instantiated. Only the functions and endpoints that are defined in that particular controller will actually be registered, so that you're not instantiating and registering a whole bunch of other stuff that you're not testing. Right? You can even further narrow down what is that you're testing.